Here are your hosts, Scott the Bear and Jeremiah the Johnson.
Welcome to the Lost and Known podcast. My name is Chad Sterling.
And I am Chad Burling.
All right.
I'm sorry. I'm Jeremiah Johnson. I didn't have a.
You didn't know what I was doing.
I didn't have a good name, so I just kind of ripped your name off.
Oh, we talked ahead of the show about maybe disguising ourselves. So
Brad. That's right. I'm Brad Perling.
Yeah.
You're Chad Sterling. Yes. And
we don't have the British girl sing our names anymore, do we? So that's on us to push ourselves under the bus.
It's on us. It's on us to
Chad Sterling here from the Lost and Known podcast.
That's right. And Brad Burling here.
Brad Burling coming in live from the studio chopper.
Toss that Lost Campcast.
He's in the studio chopper.
That's a. I don't know how to drive a chopper. All right, R.I.P. Brad Burling. I'm Jeremiah Johnson, taking the place of Brad Burling. I would like to introduce my co-host, Scott Bear, who was actually standing in for Chad Sterling, who was in the chopper with Brad Burling. We do apologize for you hearing that on air carnage, but we are going to get to some fun stuff. You heard what the show's all about in that little intro earlier, and we're just going to dive right down to the fucking brass tacks, motherfucker.
This being Halloween month, we are drilling down like we normally do in all the Halloween fun. We've got our Halloween picks. We've got our spooky movie with Scott's Movie Hole this week. And we are going to actually spend a little extra time this week to get through our web droppings, which we never fucking do.
We never do. And actually, we are discussing a slightly different format that we've actually we've talked about changing our format so much. We're talking about changing it up a little bit. We're not going to get into specifics because we're not going to do it this week.
Honestly, it's an evolving show until we're fucking happy with it.
And I think what we're going to ultimately do is continue what we're doing. But because we don't get to a lot of web droppings, I would like to create a way for us to get to more web droppings. We don't know what it's going to be.
A web dropping
episode. Come on.
Yes.
We're thinking about doing a special, essentially a separate web dropping episode.
Once a month, we take all the ones we haven't used.
Yeah, and whether it be, it's not going to be you're not going to get 2 episodes a week or anything like that, but you might get 5 episodes a month.
Last web dropping tonight.
Yes, exactly.
This month in web dropping.
The dropping month. Or whatever, but Scott,
Time Magazine's web dropping of the month.
You actually have you have a little random intro here that I did not write, and it's an idea. Do you even?
Sometimes people get high off of life, and sometimes when they're high off of life, they have ideas. And I jotted this down really quickly just to get the idea out of my head. It makes less sense on paper than it does in my own head.
Yeah,
my idea was. They say that there's prolific serial killers today, but every once in a while you hear about one case, but we don't hear about the Jeffrey Dahmers, the Gacy's.
Right. We don't get those as much. I would say forensic evidence has a lot to do with it.
My thought is the Gacy's and the Dahmers and those ilk, they were prolific and good at what they did, but not so good because they got caught and or killed. So I'm thinking there were also serial killers around the exact same times who are just as prolific, just as good at their job, but didn't get caught and quit as forensic science and DNA science started ramping up. And it was either they quit just because the timing was good or because they saw this trend coming and they didn't want to get caught. Yeah. And they settled down, they bucketed up their twisted beliefs. They maybe had a wife, they had kids, and we're talking hundreds of these motherfuckers around the country. So they all just go underground in the late 70s, early 80s and have families, and those families have kids. And this is now 2022.
Yep.
We're either at their kids being full-grown adults or their kids being full-grown adults with other kids, but they were trained to be serial killers and do it even better than their parents.
So essentially a generational thing.
So we got even better serial killers. And now we have the age of the internet, so these serial killers can be all across the country, and maybe they find a way to connect.
Well, no, there are definitely ways. There are communities all over the place. Also, there are communities.
Search boards,
there are communities showing everybody how people are busting serial killers. There's communities so they're also paying attention to those. So they're so much smarter than them.
Yeah, so we have master serial killers who were so smart that they didn't get caught and
they're staying ahead.
And quit, and then had kids and wives. Yeah. And then they taught them their trade. They're
definitely wives. They're these are serial killers are 99% men. Yeah.
Yes, it's like Dexter. It's like he's teaching the kid because the kid, is birthed with the urge to kill.
Yes, yeah. But you're
basically a lot of Dexters. Yeah,
instead of kill serial killers.
And then my idea went that they all meet online, and either there's this very complex network of serial killers working together to not get caught across the country, or it's a reverse situation where they've created like the NATO of serial killers, where they work together, knowing how they think and how they work, and with all their parents' experience and all their experience, and they stop emerging shitty serial killers. People it's like the people who kill like a dog and 2 kids, and they're not really a serial killer, but they could be someday.
So it's like the real life version of like when you see in these like comic book things where there's like the big round table of all the supervillains kicking around. Only instead it would be like a legit just a Zoom call.
Yeah, it's like the
with a bunch
Legion of Doom.
Yeah, but
Zoom call,
just a Zoom call with a
like
bunch
guys
of
with glasses.
Yeah, like in their mom's basement. In their mom's
no.
Yeah,
like they're well off.
That's right. Yes,
well.
yeah. Oh, and it probably is their mom's basement because their mom was a serial killer that left their house to them. And
sure,
and they definitely have. They definitely have her.
Incels.
They definitely have her stuffed in the attic, and they're still sociopaths, and they're
maybe
fucking
a few.
fucked up.
Yeah, you could have the Legion of Doom have a few rotten apples.
Yeah, but you're thinking like more.
That's incel Ted.
You're thinking more American Psycho serial killer, where like
some are doing well.
Yeah,
you got people in different
venture
stratas.
capitalists, they're Illuminatis,
and
they're
they have to accept the bumpkins too. Like they got Incel Joe and Swamp Pete.
Oh,
and they have to put up with them because they're part of like the lineage.
I was gonna say like or like essentially like Ed Gein's great grandson. You get just like you gotta let him in. Oh, he's oh god.
Oh yeah, there's some legacy people.
Yeah, some legacy serial killers. Oh god damn it! Fucking Johnny Gein is at it again. Dude, I fucked my mom.
But I guess my hopes would be a mix. You know, maybe some famous names in there. Maybe,
but in order to keep it going, you need like real top level people.
Yep.
I mean, essentially, we are essentially creating a QAnon conspiracy.
We're pitching.
This is like essentially what we're talking.
What's the action show that's supposed to be like James Bond but isn't? There's 3 of them. The gold British guy has the umbrella shield. Has that church fight scene. Sam Jackson was in the first one.
Don't know what you're talking about.
Dude had metal legs.
I know what you're talking about, but I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah.
God, I'm gonna die on this hill if I can't think of it.
All right.
But that action series where it was like that, like a global group that works together, and I don't know, to kill people, but to also make sure no one gets caught.
Yeah.
They all cover each other's asses. Like they have people in the police. They have attorney generals. The vice president's one of them in my thing.
Okay, yeah, that works.
Like I'm going grand conspiracy, big bold thing. Basically, I was just thinking in my head while I was very whatever I said earlier, high on life, that it would be really neat if it was just like that's why prolific serial killers don't exist. Is they have basically elevated themselves above and beyond.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah,
they're no longer like gonna kill the kid down the street while peeking through like the curtains of their living room. Like, sure, some of them might do that, but they're even frowned upon by their own kind.
Yeah. They're like, no, we have evolved. We are better than this. Yeah, it's sort of like looking at old medicine.
The vampires in Blade. How about that? They create like a government,
right? Yeah,
and they're doing things right, and they have raves where sprinkler systems are full of blood.
So
that makes sense.
So this is yeah. You're like,
they pressurized blood, or they have a water system that's blood, not water.
Also, like maybe if you just took some of that blood and like ate it, drank it, maybe you wouldn't have to kill so many people and then be caught so much.
Like slipping on it, like when you're raving, you can't rave dance on a slippery floor.
Yeah. Oh shit! Whoop, 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 whoop,
yeah,
whoop, whoop,
a whole bunch of vampires.
Anyway, so I do like the fact that you put that in there, and I have no idea where that came from, but it's pretty hilarious that ended up in there, and it's a very enjoyable topic, and it also kind of like goes to what we do in this show, which is create new content, and sometimes we create new content flat out of thin air.
That technically came from me being sick of watching TikToks of people sexualizing Jeffrey Dahmer after watching the Netflix series.
Which I did hear some controversy about that.
I've seen a few, and they're so gross.
It glorifies Dahmer way more than it should.
Yep. There's a bunch of gay men on TikTok essentially showing clips of Dahmer in the guy from American Horror Story playing Dahmer, and then them like pulling their shirts open and sweating.
Which by the way, I would also like to know that like Dahmer and Bundy especially, were sexualized and romanticized back when they got caught. So it's not a new thing. It's just it's been brought forward, and they got a really attractive man to play Jeffrey Dahmer. And
the American Horror Story dude,
and that's what's going to happen. So. Yeah.
All right, well, that's where it came from, just to let you and the listeners know.
Cool.
Now moving to the show, I guess, proper?
Yeah,
doing
but
it?
yeah, so we're gonna hit you guys with some Halloween picks, some movie picks, which we usually just do during this month. Although we do it throughout the year.
Yeah,
but we
we're going
really
heavy.
lean into it because we're both watching. We're averaging at least a horror movie a night between the two of us. So we're talking between the two of us.
I hit
We're
2 or 3
gonna
last
get.
night.
Yeah, I've done 12 in the last 3 nights. So
And I watched
have-
Star Wars
yeah.
Andor last night.
Yeah, so,
really good
yeah.
episode.
So you've been yeah. Let's not talk about that because that's not horror. No, but yeah, I have heard it's very good. But yeah, so we're just gonna slap a bunch of fucking Halloween picks of stuff that we've watched recently. This is gonna happen every week. There's a lot of them because we watch a lot of horror movies. So Scott, you're gonna start out. I think you take the first half. Although I've seen a couple of these myself.
Sure. I watched Lavalantula last night. It's
Yep.
one of those sci-fi asylum movies.
Yes, yeah.
I
Like
enjoy-
Sharknado, kind of
It's in the Sharknado
yeah.
MCU, if you will,
Yeah,
because
the Sharknado universe. The
guy,
the
main,
SCU. The
yes, the main dude from Sharknado, the one with the chainsaw.
Yeah.
He has a cameo in this, and literally,
it might actually legit be.
yeah.
in-
Oh,
okay.
and he's the same character.
It's really it. It really is a
so
connected
it really
universe.
is a connected universe.
I love it. All right.
It also has the Goot, Steve Gutenberg as the lead.
Nice.
It has a former guest of our show, Ralph Garman.
Nice.
Playing a pirate-themed tour guide. So he's basically Captain Jack through the movie, dressed as a pirate.
So the funny thing about this is I've actually almost watched it a few times. My dad's watched it multiple times.
You know why your dad's watched this multiple times? Is he a Police Academy fan?
He probably is, but I don't
Steve
know.
Gutenberg from Police
No,
Academy?
my dad just watches a lot of these ridiculous movies
Well,
on my Prime account. Yes.
When you get to the end of this movie, do you remember the black girl with the very mousy voice who would always end up screaming or shooting people?
Yes, yeah.
And then the guy who did the voices, what's his name, Michael Winslow? Mm-hmm. They are both in it for the last third of the film.
Wow, that's awesome.
And they team up with the Goot and Ralph Garman to fight Lavalantulas.
Okay, I gotta watch this. Yeah, my dad has watched this 3 times.
So we have 3 Police Academy characters, and
So it's in the Police Academy universe and the
does-
Sharknado universe. We
Michael
didn't even
Wilson
know.
Wilson does the voices and stuff, the sound effects. He's shooting an Uzi at the Lavalantulas at one point. It's like, brrr, and it runs out of bullets. He goes, brrr, 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 with his mouth, like to give it more bullets.
Oh man, Michael Winslow, you are a treasure.
So you get 3 Police Academy alumni fighting Lavalantulas
Love
and
it.
Ralph Garman.
Love it. And honestly, put it together. Lavalantula, you know what?
Yeah,
it's
special effects aren't great. It's just like Sharknado.
Exactly.
Just like Sharknado.
Or Velocipaster or one of those.
Velocipaster.
Yeah. Which I one of the favorite parts of Velocipaster, if people haven't seen that, you should watch it, is the special effects go here, screen where
Yes.
they're like insert
block.
Yeah, there's just insert exploding car here.
That's right at the beginning, yep.
Yeah.
Then both of us have watched the new Hellraiser remake,
Yes.
which is not a retelling of the original book, The Hellbound Heart.
Not which
it is not even a remake of the original movie.
No, and I really appreciate that. I love, by the way, Jamie Clayton, right, as the Hell Priest is fucking amazing.
Who is trans woman, and people didn't like that. But
Despite the
they
fact
were
that
really
actually way closer to the book, if you want to actually get to the source material,
that is
they're
true.
supposed to be. By the way, they don't mention that it's a hell priest. It's just like a doctor is not a doctoress, a priest is not a priestess. This is a hell priest. It can be non-gendered, and that's the way the Cenobites are all. None of them are supposed to have a gender or a sex. They are supposed to be sexual beings and very none of them have a dick or a pussy. It's just they probably have both, if anything. They're there for your pleasure. Also, the voice. And I was a little turned on by Pinhead / Hellboy, but the voice is fucking amazing. I don't know. I really love the Cenobite design. I don't
want to talk about it too much because I don't want to give anything away.
Nope, yep.
I will say that I am.
No spoilers.
I'm very confused that Republicans who have watched this, who are pissed that the Pinhead is a trans woman, are watching a movie made by a gay man featuring sexual demons.
Yes. By the way, which and again based on source material where there was no sex involved or gender involved in any of the. In fact, I feel like that would be the most conservative element. Actually, I guess not. They're like, no, it's got to be binary, bam, male, female. But anyway, so
I give it high marks. I agree
me
with
too,
you
yeah.
on the one point. It's a little long.
It is. I feel like they let sometimes
Could have been trimmed.
sometimes there is like a good thing about like the director not getting final cut, and I feel like in this they probably I mean, by the way, David Bruckner, who is the director of The Ritual and Night House, and also the same writers from The Night House who also wrote Super Dark Times, wrote this as well.
The writing is good.
So these people have collaborated. So they
Dark
collaborated
Times
on.
is so good.
Yeah, so they collaborated. Those two writers collaborated with David Bruckner on The Night House, which I really liked as well. And they made this, and you can and it's, to me, it feels like a good start to a rebooted franchise, because to me, if it was a standalone, I'd be like, okay, I could have used more, but this is like a good planting the seed to a new franchise, and I'm so excited to see what happens here. And I'm loving the name of the Cenobites, I can't remember. It's like there's Chatterer again, but like there's Gasp is another one, and there's another I can't remember.
Gasp was the one that had skin pulled over its face, that couldn't breathe, but then ripped through it.
And also, and we won't say anything about
stuck in the door.
I won't see anything like specifically about the end, but that final scene, that like final like 2 minutes, the Leviathan. Also,
you can buy that table. Did you see it on that auction site?
Yes, that's right. Yes,
you can buy the table, and the table. It was like $120 for that table.
It's the auction started at that. I'm
guessing
the auction
if we looked started
up.
for some of the other items at like $500.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Like that one started low.
Yeah. I just it was like people don't have room for this shit.
That's probably why. I mean, but you could just set that up like in the
dude. I'd put like picnic table and be outside, fucking like put a tablecloth on it.
Yeah.
You fucking just eat some ribs off that shit.
Your picnic table. Oh, it's a Leviathan too.
Yeah,
just say it like it's normal.
Yeah. And I will say, for those fans of the original, I do love, and we'll go through the rest of these pretty quick, but like we're both huge Hellraiser fans. The thing one of the things I really liked about this is they really dive deeper into the lore of the box. And if people have read the book, you know that it's we have been faced with the Lament configuration and the Leviathan configuration pretty much exclusively throughout the entire Hellraiser series, but they don't explore any of the other configurations of the box. And this one, they essentially go through all of it, and like they had a game designer essentially really create a real puzzle box that you had to like solve in succession. It's fucking awesome. Anyway, really happy about the direction of this new franchise, and excited to see what comes next. Hopefully with Bruckner and those guys involved.
Next movie on the list, Werewolf by Night which is by Marvel. Yeah,
yes,
I watched it.
Yeah.
It's on Disney Plus. It is the newest Marvel movie show.
Yeah, and it's a special. So people who have listened to this podcast know I am not a fan of Marvel in general. But I will watch good stuff when good stuff is around, and I was excited about this. I didn't have to watch 65 movies to understand it.
It's completely standalone.
It's an hour long.
It really had almost zero Easter eggs from any other film too. It was alone.
Yeah, I love the fact it was an hour long. It was in this like stark black and white for 99% of the movie,
with the ticks and stuff on the screen.
The those little dots that like show you where you're supposed to like switch the reel and stuff. Yeah. Like I had that, and the intro credits were essentially 1940s like Wolfman. Like Universal films, the aesthetic was beautiful. The acting was amazing. I was a big fan.
R.I.P. to the actor who plays Hagrid. I cannot remember his name, but he is actually in this movie as one of the monster hunters.
Oh, yes.
He was the big bearded monster hunter.
That's right, yeah. He was awesome.
It technically might be that actor's last role since he died 2 days ago.
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, there's been some pretty like significant deaths. There's Barnaby, who I can't remember his first name, but the guy who made Blood Quantum died at 46 just yesterday, I think. The guy who made Blood Quantum and Rhymes for Young Ghouls, which is one of my favorites. I'm not familiar. They're Native American, apparently. So and also
classic Native American name, Barnaby.
Yeah. His last name, Luke.
Dances with Barnaby.
No, I think his name's Luke Barnaby. Like it's not a very like, but he's like a part of like this. So if you have not seen Blood Quantum, it was a Shudder exclusive. I think it's still on Shudder. It's
I don't
amazing.
think I have.
It's one of the best like zombie-esque movies I've seen in a long time. So I would recommend that. Shit, that's my next recommendation. Anything by Luke Barnaby, but also Kim Jung-gi, the amazing artist who like drew freehand, just with ink. South Korean artist, died at 46 or 49. Like,
stop saying all those people who died around my age. It's getting
depressing. No. It sucks. Like, and it's what like Luke Barnaby, I believe it was. It was just never disclosed, but like he's been suffering from cancer for the last year. Kim Jung-gi, super healthy, great guy. Like just like a heart attack, essentially, from what I understand. So
Doesn't take much. All right.
Anyway.
Next on the list, and this one we're just going to say, Hocus Pocus 2.
Yep,
super fun watch.
We watched it together
That's
as part of work, and it was great. It was
super fun watch.
And if you like the first one, and you just, and we do have something we will talk about this later too, actually in a different story. But yeah, all right.
Next one.
I've not seen this one.
The Dead Next Door. I could only find it on Plex, which is a free streaming platform. You can just download for free.
Yep.
Plex
is really good. It has a lot of good stuff on it.
This was a Sam Raimi produced movie. He used a lot of his Evil Dead movie to get this movie made. In fact, Bruce Campbell is in the movie too as any voice heard off screen, like over the phone.
Yeah.
Hey! And it doesn't matter.
I haven't watched it yet.
It doesn't matter if it's another established character in the movie. If that character is then talked to on the phone, they didn't get that actor back to do the other end of the phone conversation. Bruce Campbell just did it for him.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, I gotta watch that one.
It is a low-budget zombie film that takes place years after a zombie apocalypse has happened and deals with people trying to figure out how to cure it and how to end it, and has some amazing special effects that are all practical. One of my favorite aspects of this movie, and I'll be quick here, a doctor puts a voice box in a zombie's neck and figures out how their brains now work and can get the zombie to talk again like a human, but saying what it would say as a zombie.
Yes.
And there's a great scene at the end where that doctor is being about to be killed by a bunch of zombies, and that zombie talks to him, and he's like, through the voice box, like, "You're about to die now." Like, very creepy and guttural, and he's like, no, I don't want to die. He's like, "You've done everything you can, and you haven't been able to escape this," and stuff like that. And it's such ominous, creepy, good acting talking through this.
I think I'm gonna pop this one on tonight when I'm doing some little art stuff. I think like this is a good like background, like just fucking watch that.
You may end up being drawn to it more than you think. I put it on as background too, and kept being drawn.
I'm fine with that. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. I just like that kind of energy anyway. So.
And then my last one on this list is Chainsaw Man, which is a new anime that dropped on Hulu. It is a horror anime, TVMA. Very bloody, very, very, very bloody, very bloody.
Cool. The next four.
Bloody.
So these next four, I know you have not seen any of these, so I'm just literally going to like rattle them off, and I'm only going to talk about the last one. So Bloody Hell on Shudder. Comedy horror. Action. Actually, I will say one thing about it. The lead reminds me so much of the best parts of Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark. His energy, and
that's
the
cool.
The lead female reminds me so much, like could have been played by oh god, who's the hottest babe from The Babysitter? Samara Weaving.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So like totally could have been played by her.
Yeah.
Some of the most fun I've seen, like a bit watching movies.
You're not even a Marvel fan, but I think you'd agree with me. Robert Downey Jr. playing Tony Stark might be one of his best roles ever because he is so that character.
Oh no, he
just is.
Oh no, he like
it's not even acting. He's just like, yeah, I'm him.
Yeah, no, that's why this is.
Oh, you need a rich alcoholic?
Yeah,
with a goatee.
This is a positive thing. I was saying for sure. Yeah. Sissy on Shudder, also a great horror.
I wondered
comedy.
about that. It didn't look that horror-like.
It gets okay. So the first bit of it is definitely like social horror, where it's just like kind of awkward. But then when it gets horror, like the first bit, you're like, oh, this is good psychological, but it's also just a lot of fun. It's really there are parts I laughed out loud, but also like really dark comedy.
Okay.
So recommended on Saloom on Shudder. Not much to say about that.
This was recommended to me by our mutual friend who's been on the show before, Christopher Ball.
Christopher Ball, and Christopher Ball, I agree with you. Saloom was very good. Lux Eterna, this is the most divisive one. If you have even thought about maybe you have epilepsy, you cannot watch this movie. This movie
I couldn't
is
watch
called,
this with Kelly right now.
Yeah, this movie is called. It might as well be called. It literally
Epilepsy. The movie.
It starts out with an epilepsy warning. Then there's
10 minutes of strobe lights.
No, actually, the end is 10 minutes of strobe lights.
Jesus.
It might be 15 minutes of strobe lights. But it also, you essentially have to, you have to, like, Gaspar, it's Gaspar Noé, the guy who made Irreversible, the guy who made Climax. I love his work, but he makes you work for shit. Like, he makes you hurt when you watch it. And he wants that. He wants people to walk out of the theaters. Lux Eterna, like most of the movie split screen, you're essentially reading two sets of, you're hearing two sets of overlapping dialogue in different languages and having to read two sets of subtitles. It gave me a fucking headache. It's only 51 minutes.
You're not selling me on this at all.
No, I don't think you will want to watch this. But I will say I loved what I came out of it with. but it gave me the biggest headache. I pretty much had an anxiety attack. I was like, oh, watch, this is only 51 minutes long. Longest 51 minutes I've ever sat through. It hurt me. It brutalizes you, and you will have a seizure by the end if you can sit through the last 12 minutes of just strobing lights. I loved it. I don't think you would like it. But anybody out there really willing to just go the extra mile and risk something, give it a shot.
I would give it a try.
It's Gaspar Noé. It is most of it's the horror is the anxiety that you feel. It's not a horror movie for the most part. It's actually quote unquote documentary style where like everybody in the movie plays themselves. It's like Charlotte Gainsborough and these who else? The woman who played the main woman from the movie Inside. It's French, Gaspar. Anyway, so that's the end of it.
All right, and at this point, we are into the movie hole. This week, it is mine, so I am going to be leading this charge. Earlier, we talked about our favorite movies, and Hocus Pocus was mentioned super fast, as Hocus Pocus 2 was something we both watched together and thoroughly enjoyed. But not everyone enjoys this movie. I guess if you're...
Who doesn't enjoy this movie?
I guess if you're really Christian, you see Halloween as a bad thing. In fact, there's a Jesus-ween. Have you heard of this?
By the way,
which is the worst name for an alternative Halloween, because Jesus-ween just sounds like Jesus' dick.
I would like to point out, okay, so I'm not going to get into the whole, the fact that Halloween was actually created by the Christians by stealing the Celtic holiday to get people to worship their Christian God. But if you want to learn more about that, there's a great Throughline episode at NPR's Throughline podcast, has an entire hour-long episode about the origins of Halloween, and it starts right out with essentially, the Celtic holiday and the Christians creating Halloween to steal them from their own holiday.
The whole idea of wearing horrible-looking masks, evil masks for the kids, is to scare ghosts and monsters away. They're using the evil's own evil against the evil. Like, Christians should like that their kid goes out wearing a devil mask to scare the devil out of town. So
it was like Samhain or whatever the name of the holiday was from the Celts.
Samhain?
No, it was something different from the Celts. It was and so the Celts had this holiday. It occurred on November 1st. Oh, actually, technically occurred the night before. So the Christians took their March holiday and they moved it to where the Celtic holiday was, to essentially steal people, because they're like, hey, we want to get people to know that we're not trying to like say they can't do their own shit. We're just going to try to convert. They're essentially appropriating their own their rituals. Their rituals and holidays.
That's how we got Easter.
Exactly. So Christian appropriation of other people's holidays to get people in, and also just great marketing. That's what you do. Like that's fucking brilliant. So it worked. So the fact that now Christians are like, hey, this thing that we created, we don't like.
Yeah, they're not always on message with each other.
Yeah. Oh, that's crazy. These people who believe in this fucking this little fairy tale, they somehow don't get their shit together.
Yeah. This is a story out of Troy, Texas. The mother in question is Jamie Gooch. Fucking love that name,
dude. Jamie Gooch, dude.
A mother of three says she will not let her family watch this film.
Oh, three Gooches?
There's a husband, too.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, the Gooches. Yeah, it's a Gooch and a tiny little Gooch and a smaller Gooch and a little Gooch and a tiny Gooch. Baby Gooch! Where, baby Gooch? So that's the theme song for the Gooches. The Gooches!
Quote from Mama Gooch. A worst case
Mama Gooch, I love it.
A worst case scenario is you unleash hell on your kids and in your home. The whole movie is based on witches harvesting children for blood sacrifices. The mom added that while, quote, everyone thinks it's fake and innocent, the characters in the film could be casting any type of spell they want to. She literally thinks the characters in the movie can cast spells that would affect you in your living room and or could climb through the TV and infect your household with demonic and evil energy.
Oh, dude, it's like people, and I come from...
It's a mental health issue.
I come from a religious family and stuff. Like, I have people in my family when I wear my Ouija board shirt, they're freaked out and they want me to change it because I'm just like... First of all, Ouija boards were bought by Fisher Price or fucking whatever.
I got an original one this summer at a yard sale for $1. No, nice. 50 cents. An original Like the first manufactured original box. There's
like
no
Fisher
box.
Price. Yeah.
It's whatever company made it.
Yeah, I can't remember. It wasn't Fisher Price, but it was one of those.
Before
Yeah.
Hasbro, before Parker Brothers. It was something just before that.
Yeah.
I got one of the old ones, and I bought it at a church basement sale.
Yeah, good. Get this thing out of
for 50 cents. It's worth over $60 on eBay.
Nice. Oh,
and
awesome.
when I gave them the 50 cents I paid for it, one of the nuns came over and took out a pad of paper and she's like, "Can we have your name and number so we can pray for you?" And we burst out laughing. We're like, "You are funny." She's like, and she kind of gave me like one of those, "Ha, gotcha."
Yeah.
Like we're joking, you know.
Awesome.
But it was a good one.
No, that was a good one.
That was a good one.
Yeah, way to go, fucking hilarious now. But she's praying for you right now.
I got that with my wife and my teenage daughter who was dressed very goth when we walked in there.
Yeah, that's right.
Like
yeah,
black lipstick, black coat,
Oh yeah,
black stockings. Like she's
like
goth.
Yeah,
now.
yeah. You're like, oh, you're gonna send your daughter to hell. Like, have you not seen the Mike Flanagan movie?
50 cents. This is cheaper than college. Hand it to my daughter in front of them.
Yeah, go to Devil College, daughter.
You should have done that right in front of them. Like, this is cheaper than college.
There you go. I love Devil College, Dad. Go Moshi Ball, Moshi Ball, and I'm like red contacts in.
But yeah, that's my Ouija board story.
Yes.
But church people can be funny and in on the joke and stuff.
Oh yeah, no. They also, like, most of them, I will say, like, do realize the ridiculousness of be like, yeah, it's a fucking game. It was a game that was corporatized.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, if you
guess
find
what?
if you
Parker
find a
Brothers
hand
or
burned,
Hasbro or whoever, like, can't.
But if you
make
find
something that talks to fucking ghosts, let
But if you
alone
find
me wearing
a
it.
200-year-old one that's hand carved, hand burned, looks like it has a blood stain on it.
Oh, yeah.
That is some cool shit, and that might bring up something weird.
You know what? Yes,
I believe
even if it
that
doesn't,
could.
your brain will make it happen.
Yes,
and that's
But a Parker Brothers board, I'm really not thinking that's gonna.
Yeah, let alone me having a Parker Brothers board on a shirt, and I walk into the room and be like, "Take that off! How dare you!" I'm like, dude, really?
Look in the corner of the board. It's copyrighted. That means it works.
Copyrighted by Satan?
Yeah.
Oh no, copyright patent number 666. Oh wait, no, I
Actually,
misread
I think
that.
just like okay,
725416.
So I'm a mild
7277.
believer in tulpas, and I do believe theoretically that you could use a toy board to manifest a tulpa if you believe enough or have enough people around you who also believe with
I
you.
feel if you believe enough, you can manifest anything because
I believe tulpas can be manifested.
Because it doesn't mean it exists. It just means something.
Oh yeah, they
is
probably
manifested.
don't exist.
Yes. It
But
just
I
means
believe out of most
it's-
horrors on Earth, a tulpa
yeah.
seems the most reasonable because people manifest things all the time. It's like I don't believe in dream boards, but I do believe that people who have dream boards sometimes get the shit on them, not through coincidence, but because they really manifest.
No, and guess what? Then
try.
they actually try to do something.
I mean,
yes.
when I say manifest, they don't go, and then a gold brick goes and lands on their floor. I mean more like
it means they're like, oh, I need to fucking go out and actually work my ass off to do something. And you know what? If that's what it takes to get it to work, then technically it works.
Tulpas is like the horror version of that.
Yeah.
Where sure, maybe part of me thinks if ghosts can be real, you can manifest a Slender Man if enough people believe in him.
Well, I mean, essentially they did with the people who like killed somebody because of the Slender Man. Like,
technically, yeah.
It really,
I was thinking more in the
becomes,
monster sense, like you could make one appear.
In your head, yes.
In your head,
yes.
It may not be there,
and we do know from the Mandela effect and everything like that, there are cultural consciousness that can occur where a bunch of people can believe they saw something, or and sometimes it might happen with like UFO sightings. I actually believe UFO sightings are mostly real, but
UFO sightings could also be tulpas.
But they could, yeah, exactly. They could be manifested
all
by a group.
all it needs to be is an idea that you have that goes into someone else's head, because enough people's heads, and then
memes.
It's real.
They're essentially
it's real.
It's like mimetic. It's mimetic. Yeah. So essentially, and with you notice like UFO sightings always happen after like other UFO sightings or other like crazy things where a bunch of people have it in their consciousness, and then suddenly a bunch of people see the same thing in the sky and they're like, "That's a UFO."
Yeah.
But by the way, it technically is. If you don't but they're saying that's an alien spacecraft.
Technically, it is. Yes.
They're saying that's an alien spacecraft. And a bunch of people.
No, I want a good Tulpa movie, but I want one like that deals with younger kids and the fact that maybe their imaginations are so strong that they can actually manifest them. So, like, say you're a little kid, like we were both little kids, and like you're in your bed, you're in your bed, and you're like, "There's a monster in my bed," and then you suddenly hear scratching.
Yes.
Maybe you really are hearing scratching, and you manifested that scratching happening is an actual auditory hallucination.
Of course it is. Auditory exactly. That's what it means. Hallucinations. And also, but large
I want a
scale
horror movie
hallucinations.
where you can manifest it past that. Where then, like, a little claw comes out from under the bed. And sure, it's a hallucination. But then it claws your leg, and you really have scratches, like Freddy hurting you in your dreams, and then the dream coming through into reality. Basically, breaking the wall of a tulpa being a manifestation of a mass hallucination to being a thing that actually can hurt you.
Not unlike what they were maybe trying to get across in the movie Grim Cuddy, which was not very good. But
yeah, I need to watch that, which is kind of the same.
But it has that kind of concept of it. It was like there's definitely a could this like culturally be like large enough to where a bunch of people are like doing self-harm, but they're not actually doing it for like the sake of like a TikTok trend. They're doing it because they actually believe they are helping. If you hear that in the background, that's my cat just tearing.
I'm actively ignoring it.
Yeah, I gave him a box with some styrofoam in it, and he's fucking having a blast. So we're just not gonna talk about that guy. Anyway,
to be fair,
moving on.
The whole Texas mother story, it goes a little long. It's basically more of the same drivel. She thinks demons can come through the TV, etc. Yeah. She hasn't allowed her kids to celebrate Halloween in 5 years. She won't let her kids watch Hocus Pocus 1 or 2, and I'm guessing along those lines, practically most TV.
Yeah. If you get we watched Hocus Pocus and I mean 2. And we both seen Hocus Pocus 1. They are not terrible movies. Like they are like as fucking Disney PG as you can get. But a lot of these Christian families are like, oh, like Disney's the devil. Like,
yep. Now I couldn't find a great tangential movie connection for my movie hole, so I picked something that was sitting in my queue for a long time. It was
likely what I did last week. You know, I couldn't figure it out. You know.
And I picked it specifically because if she thinks Hocus Pocus 2 is something you can't let your kids sit down and watch, she would never let them watch Gut Boy. I am also going to throw in that today's magic word is flaying.
Yes.
Just like Pee-wee's Playhouse, if you hear the word flaying. Ah! Yeah.
Yeah.
So, movie Gut Boy, A Bad Time Story, came out in 2015, can be found on Amazon Prime, and is categorized as a horror musical. Man, did I have a fun time watching this, and so did a lot of other people. It has a 5.6 on IMDb.
That's fucking high for a movie like this.
And
it is really high.
It is a Kickstarter movie that had a $7,000 goal that met $7,012, meaning it surpassed its goal by $12.
Like mom came forward with the last like $40. Like, here you go, honey. Have fun with your movie.
Only 107 backers, and this was in 2013. The movie came out in 2015, meaning it only took 2 years to make. It is a quick watch. It is an hour and 11 minutes.
Nice, good.
It is a combination of marionette puppets and live action.
I like the sound of that, honestly.
So, here's basically the quickest breakdown I could find of it. A flayed man teams up with a vengeful mermaid to prank the corporate forces of law, order, and the free market to death. So, essentially, it's a big fuck you to capitalism.
Which actually, by doing it on Kickstarter, it is really a fuck you to capitalism. Yep. It's going straight to the... It's one thing if you're like, fuck you to capitalism, brought to you by Paramount Plus.
So essentially, the beginning of the movie, after you get past the openings, is a boy fishing on the river, and he has a fishing pole his dad gave him, and a salesman, a guy who's a mover and shaker. He's from the big city, and he has ideas, but he wants your ideas. He'll buy them for me.
Right.
He's like, I came out here and I found nothing to buy. Oh, that fishing pole, that's unique. I've never seen one of those before like that. And he's like, oh yeah, my dad made it specifically handmade, one of a kind. He's like, well, I'll buy it from you. That way I can go back to the big city and show him I brought something back. And he's like, no, I won't sell. It's all I have. It's how I eat. I fish. And he's like, fine, give me your skin.
Yeah. This sounds like a cool fairy tale, honestly. If you were just to tell it like that as a fairy tale, I would be like, this is like a grim fairy tale. Yeah.
And then he takes the boy's skin for $3, even though he promised him $8. The value went down because he talked too much or something.
Yeah, you know, when you talk, your fucking skin gets dry. I don't like it.
And then a mermaid comes out of the water who's also flayed. And they're both skinless, and
something in common.
She falls in love with him instantly because they're both skinless.
Something
in
common.
Goes, I'm a mermaid. I can grant you a wish because that's what mermaids do.
Yep.
And she thinks he's going to be like, I want to have my skin back and be with you because you're hot.
Yeah.
But he actually wants to be with the sheriff's daughter.
Oh!
And it kind of pisses her off, so she says the wish can come true, and what she ends up doing is ripping the skin off the sheriff's daughter and wearing it so that she can...
So essentially she's now the hot sheriff's daughter, and you're like, oh, do you really want her now?
It gets fucked up. And there's a character.
I want to
There's a
watch
rich
this movie.
character
I
who
wanna
has.
watch
There's
this.
a rich character who has pet giants, and it's a giant hot man and hot woman covered in gold, wearing bikinis, gold paint, and they just live in a cave, and they come out and do his bidding. There's giants. And it's a musical, so
It's on Amazon Prime, you said?
Yes.
Okay, I gotta watch this. This is.
I'll be back up a little bit to my notes. I'm gonna back up a little bit.
This is like soon watching for me.
I'm gonna back up my notes a hair.
Okay, yeah.
I like this quote from the mermaid the first time you meet her. You learn a lot on the ocean floor, like how to please a man. That was like my first favorite quote of the entire movie.
Sure.
Also, the title card hits you in the screen 13 minutes in at about an hour and 12-minute movie.
Yeah.
It was very awkward because the credits are how it starts.
So,
but then
yeah.
the title comes on
Like
a third of the way through the movie.
Yeah, essentially,
practically.
like 15 minutes in. It's awesome.
The two gold giants are introduced, and then their first big scene, they're asked to wrestle, and they fight it out in what I can only describe as an unearthed Fat Boy Slim music video. And it's stylized, and it's got like that like techno, like 90s techno.
You remember how I was like I was like anti-selling you on Lux Eterna? You are pro selling me so fucking hard on this movie.
So there's a 5-minute Fat Boy Slim video in the middle of this movie.
Everything you're telling me about this movie makes me want to watch it as you're talking. I just want to like just cut this fucking shit short and watch it.
Then there's a story sequence where fairy tale is being explained, and it is done with paper cut animation behind thin film paper, so it's like shadow box.
Yeah, you and I love that kind
like
of stuff.
Little dragons and birds and little people, and it's very well done.
Yeah, you and I are big fans of that kind of stuff, and we're both artistic in that sense.
And then there's a scene where the two main marionettes, the skinless ones, the flayed ones, are trying to drink all the wine of the rich guy, the financier, the guy who took his skin. And they have the giants help him drink. And the whole scene is them getting drunk off all of his wine cellar while murdering the guy by ripping all of his legs and arms off at once, while there's a very super happy pop song like Britney Spears female empowerment thing happening that completely is different than the Fat Boy Slim or the medieval music for the papers.
Katy Perry roar kind of like
easily, like you don't know what we've been through. I'm a girl in the city and we know what we need. Rip, guy's legs come off and blood is squirting.
So good, love it, dude. You are selling me so fucking hard on this.
And that's where I actually want to end it because it keeps going. It ends up becoming a maritime adventure. There's other characters, including a giant covered in moss.
It sounds like this earned all $7,000 easily.
Yes. I wish I had backed it.
And spent all $7,000.
I wish I had backed it.
And it earns its 5.6 on IMDb, which actually is very high for like an indie fucking like horror flick. Yeah.
I looked into the creators of this. They're not really that famous, and we could probably get them.
We should talk to them. Yeah, I will.
That's the low bar for us.
we talked like Lloyd Kaufman, Larry Cohen, Dan Harmon,
Mike Myers maybe next week.
Oh yeah.
Maybe.
But, dude, we don't have to set low bars. We can just talk to these people because they make really good art. That's what we want to talk to them, not because we have a low bar, but because we actually think that they deserve the high bar that they.
My eyes were glued to this movie for all 112
so
minutes.
they deserve to be have the same accolades as the other people we have interviewed, which, by the way, name dropping, have been amazing people like Dan Harmon. I would just say again, Larry Cohen, Lloyd Kaufman, and just literally look at our fucking website.
Herschel Walker, Tim Tebow.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Wait, if Herschel Walker can be a fake cop, he can also be a fake guest on our show.
That's true. Yes, it's true. You know what? Yeah, we did slum it a little bit toward the end there, but you know. We've had a blast. Yeah, and we will hopefully be talking to James Jude Courtney for Halloween Ends.
We're hoping next week, but we don't know yet. I'm still talking to the publicist. We haven't nailed down a date yet.
Yeah, let's figure it out.
But we're on our way. So I didn't really know how to get into this past the idea of like flayed men, because that's the big plot point of the movie.
That's something you can, yeah.
So I looked into flayed men, just curious, what's the history of it?
And you ended up on pornography websites, the dark web, and you have got to flee the state.
I saw some dicks without some skin.
Ended up in a red room that you did not want to be in.
It was a hot dog without its natural casing.
Yep.
What I found out was the earliest practices of flaying people are dating back to 83 BC
Wow.
as the earliest known. Pretty sure it happened way before.
Oh, of
then.
course, yeah, because people are like, oh, here's a way to hurt people. Take all their fucking skin off. Yeah.
And rather than go through the history of it, as in like the Mesopotamians, the Goths, etc., going through all these years of how they used to flay him, and how the Chinese would take your face if you didn't do the right thing.
Yep, that's classic.
That's actually not racist at all. The Chinese would flay your face.
Yeah. No, we're not saying Chinese people do that now. We're just saying that is something that happened in history. Yes.
Instead, I decided to do a bullet point list of flayed people you might have heard of, flayed works of art, flayed things in general.
Not including Bobby Flay.
I actually left him off the list purposely.
Yeah. No, yeah, please.
Attack on Titans, the world famous, probably the most famous anime of this modern age. It's a horror anime.
Yes.
It is amazing. The Titans themselves are all flayed.
Yep.
Every one of them.
Yep. It's all musculature and,
Game of Thrones, the House of Bolton, Ramsay Bolton's house. They would flay people.
That's right.
Their flag was an upside down flayed man.
Have you watched
an X.
Total
House of Dragons?
I just started watching House of the Dragon.
I will not watch House of Dragons or the new Lord of the Rings until all 10 episodes of each are complete, so I can marathon them. Because I refuse to watch a complex show with 100 characters who all sound the same and look the same.
I will only watch one at a time. So I decided to start watching House of the Dragon first.
Yeah, I'm going to pick
because my brother was up last weekend and they're already on episode 9 now. So I was like, I can't. So I can start watching it now and I can essentially.
Also, there's too much TV right now. Like I just finished She-Hulk, not She-Hulk.
You wouldn't like me when I'm wet.
She-Hulk.
All right,
now I want to see
She-Hulk. Anyway, yes. So you just finished She-Hulk.
Yeah,
She-Hulk.
May I just say the last episode of Jesus Christ,
No,
I can't say it the other way.
She-Hulk. Yeah.
The last episode of She-Hulk is the most fourth wall breaking mind fuck of an hour of TV, including all the horror I've been watching that I have seen this year.
I watched the first episode. I really enjoyed it. So I will. Again, I like. There's a lot of Marvel stuff, especially their shows. I really love. I love
blows my mind.
WandaVision and all that.
She-Hulk walks off of the show because she doesn't like the writing of the finale and how they're doing.
Oh, really breaking
and how they're doing.
My God.
And how they're doing the Marvel thing again. She goes, really? The big bad is that guy, and the Hulk came back to help me. He's in space. How do you even know I'm in trouble?
Yeah.
And she walks off set, and she literally walks across other shows, sets, and stuff. He goes, where the hell are the writers of the show? Bursts in the writer's room.
By the way, spoiler alert.
I don't care. Bursts in the writer's room and starts haranguing them all about their bad writing for the finale.
That's awesome, dude. I love that. That's great.
And they all blame it on Kevin Feige, the head of Marvel.
Oh, yeah.
And then she goes to find Kevin, and that's where I won't tell you what happens next and how it actually ends, but wow, she walks through all of Marvel Studios and like breaks through walls as She-Hulk. Like, they break the fourth walls and like, all right, it's the real world. She-Hulk's not real, but she's real in it.
Like, cut! Yeah.
She's like breaking cameras as she walks through the set.
What was it? What, History of the World? Like the Mel Brooks movies where like suddenly they're like, like he'll just cut and be like, oh,
or like Spaceballs where they do the lightsaber fight and they kill like the Mike dude.
Exactly.
No, this screams Mel Brooks in its writing. It is so
Mel Brooks
good.
was the fucking master of comedically breaking the fourth wall.
No, She-Hulk is solidified as the best Marvel comedy there is. It is a straight up comedy.
Oh, I could tell that from the first episode, and I was like, I'm probably gonna like actually continue that.
I'm sorry if I ruined that for you or the listeners, but I don't fucking care.
But
awesome.
But what we were saying is there's so much good stuff out there, and like especially for shows. So
including She-Hulk.
So House, yes, which we now need.
With the Baywatch theme as its opening.
Yeah, but like
a whole bunch of red Speedo slow motion beach running Hulk scenes.
You wouldn't like
slow motion with a big Hulk dong in his Speedo.
You wouldn't like me when I'm soggy. So in other words, like, so House of the Dragon, I watched. My brother was up. I was like, let's start this. So I watched the first like 3 episodes. And man, when people are like, and one of the reasons I watched that over the Amazon Lord of the Rings series, one, I can't watch 2 fucking fantasy series at the same time.
They have to be separate.
But the reason I watched that one is because everybody was like, they were like, is House of the Dragon too dark? And I watched it. I'm like, yeah, it kind of is. Actually, it's really fucking dark. It is fucking brutal. It's way more brutal than Game of Thrones, in my opinion. Good. But
I give House of the Dragon 4 rapes.
Yeah. Not too many of those, actually. Yeah.
Fucking stove, dude.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, my cat was on the stove. I'm waiting. One of these days, I'm going to fucking just turn the burner
Oh, that's why I
on.
walked out of the podcast. I'm like, he can't be on the stove.
No, he's not
You gotta
supposed to
teach
be.
him that.
Yeah. No,
All
he's
right.
not supposed to be. Anyway,
now
so,
on to my
continue.
flayed list.
Yes.
Speaking of Hellraiser from earlier, Hellraiser 1 and 2, the originals, had flayed man in Hellraiser 1 and a flayed woman in Hellraiser 2.
Yep, that's right. They
Big
had to
plot
essentially
points.
grow their skin back by man, get him off me it was one of my favorite scenes from was it 1 or 2? I can't remember. When they give the guy the straight razor.
2, I want to say.
Yes. Dude, one and 2, by the way, are equal in my opinion.
Yeah,
A lot of
they're
people
really
are like,
good. They're
oh,
really
the number
good.
one, like, dude, 1 and 2,
1 and 2 are good.
in my opinion, are absolutely one of the few franchises where the first 2 movies I cannot pick between which one is my favorite.
In my list, my bullet point list, I included a recipe from All Recipes for the flayed
Flayed
man cheese ball.
Okay, what does this have to do? I didn't.
You
open this
basically
link.
do a cheese ball spread with little like a charcuterie almost, but like a
Yep.
white version of it where it's just cheddar cheese slices and rolled salami. But then in the middle, you buy one of those Halloween masks, like the plastic face with like just the lips and the eyes
right,
painted.
yeah.
You put that in the middle and you wrap prosciutto around it, and then you put like I think it's olives for the eyes, and that's it. It just looks like a skinless person.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
And that's it. It's on All Recipes. I don't know why it exists, but there's a flayed man recipe for that. Then also we have Michelangelo's painting, The Last Judgment. It includes a flayed man and someone holding his skin. It's a very famous painting. Look it up if you haven't seen it.
You will recognize that.
Silence of the Lambs. Buffalo Bill, the actual villain of Silence of the Lambs, would flay his victims. That's why he wants you to put the lotion on. He wants your skin supple and soft, and he wants you to take care of your fucking skin.
Yeah. Take care of yourself. All right. Put the lotion on a skin, or else get the hose again.
All Predator movies, the Predators flay their victims.
That's right. And then they also then tear their fucking spine out.
Oh, that too.
Yeah.
It's easier to tear the spine out after you're flayed.
Of course. Yes. As people know.
And then Midsommar had a off-screen flaying of one of the male characters where you hear him.
It's either Midsummer or Midsommar.
Yes.
Midsommar is
I
the
said
pronoun-
neither.
yes.
I said neither.
I think he said Midsummer the first time. Yes. Yeah.
But they take one of the male
doesn't
characters
matter.
towards the end of the movie, and you hear him screaming as they do something to him off screen. But
Yes.
then a few minutes later, one of the main bad characters walks out with his skin, his leg skin, his pants, and all that.
Yes, yeah. If you all have not seen Ari Aster's Midsommar or Hereditary, but
Watch it.
Watch
Watch
both. Watch Ari Aster's.
Watch them back to back in one night.
Yes.
Don't even pause between the two.
Yeah, and also
You will be.
So one thing I have not watched yet. And,
You'll never
so-
put your hand out a car window as you go down the road ever again.
Oh god, yeah, like that.
I do that a lot.
Oh yeah,
I drive with my arm out the window, and sometimes when I'm on even your street, which is a little bit of a tight street,
it is. Yeah.
I now pull my arm a little.
Yeah, because of Hereditary.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So just keep that in mind, folks, and also when you have your little dog, just fucking.
It has adjusted how I drive,
Yeah.
essentially.
And yeah, so those are great. But I bought the Midsommar on iTunes because it was the only way you can get the director's cut. But I have still not watched the director's cut. So one of these days, I don't know if you've watched the director's cut, but one of these days I would like to watch the director's cut of
I'm not sure
Midsommar.
which version I watched. I might have watched the longer version because I watched it later than most people.
Hey, buddy, what are you doing? Yeah. Anyway, that's my cat attacking Scott.
I gave him some love.
So the only way you can, as far as I know, the only way you could have watched the director's cut, it came to like 4 theaters for a little while. But
I thought it was like the Amazon version or
no.
you
You have to purchase the iTunes version and then choose to watch the director's cut, and that's all there is to it. Anyway.
So do you want to get into web droppings? But
you know what?
Probably.
I'm gonna.
You want to do the
How about
top
this?
one?
How about
the
this?
top one as a safety?
You just want to do one web dropping,
Just the top one.
and then we're gonna do this. We're gonna the rest of these we're gonna boil into a special episode.
We'll do one extra episode this month.
Next time we get together, we're gonna because the last two episodes we have not covered any web droppings. Let's take the best of all those and these. But let's So which one of these do you want to cover?
Just the top one. Just as public safety.
This is true. And actually,
Yeah,
a lot of you
just
who
that.
watch.
That's a good way to end the show.
I'm not even going to do the web dropping sting. We're just going to go right into it. a lot of you who watch John Oliver, who may have already been fully aware of this, and Scott is asking for it. Oh my god. Okay. Anyway, so
Sorry, everybody.
Yeah, Scott.
I tried putting a cat in a bag that wanted to really hurt me.
How do any cat owners out there? How do you think that went? So anybody who's watched John Oliver knows already the rainbow fentanyl shit is. I mean, essentially, it's
a hoax.
the, you know, like the old, like we grew up.
I mean, it exists.
You and I, rainbow fentanyl exists, but it's not being peddled to kids. It's not being tricked as trick or treat candy.
Same with CBD gummies and other pot foods.
Who is taking their fucking precious drugs and giving
expensive.
them to children who can't afford to buy them?
I don't even want to give the kids coming to my door the candy I'm giving them.
No.
I'd rather I paid
Exactly.
for it.
Most of the time, I look at them and go, no, and I just put it in my own pocket.
The kids and the parents,
and then I put it in my own pocket and I kick them out the door.
Dude, if they have a hot mom, they're getting the full size Snickers.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, and she's getting the
then
full
I'm
size
like,
Snickers.
Here's another one for your mom.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and by the way,
My wife's in the background. What'd you say?
I want to fuck her. I mean, him. No, God damn it. Yeah, that's right. Anyway,
Which would get me in the least amount of trouble with you specifically.
Tell you what, next year you wear a mask of your mom, I'll fucking give you all the whole Snickers. What? Oh, God, I think this man just told me he was going to rape me if I wore a skin mask of you, Mommy? Yeah, come back next year. You're my husband now. Anyway.
Yeah,
So,
no one's
yes.
giving away their hard-earned drugs.
No, dude, it's like, this is, okay, so there are, and people have mentioned, like, the way that the people set apart drugs, you know, whether it be, Molly, ecstasy, all this shit in the past, and like acid, all this kind of stuff. Like you do little marketing things, or dude, anybody who's watched, I'm gonna see how this goes. Anybody who has watched Breaking Bad knows, like the marketing, like the blue meth, is a big thing. So essentially, people are creating this rainbow fentanyl. It does exist, but nobody has like actually. Had like any like kids fucking have it in their
They make them colorful colors to distinguish their products.
Exactly.
You have different
It's marketing.
dealers
It's
selling
marketing.
different drugs.
Yes.
So you'd be like, oh, the
it's
blue ones
it's
are
blue
good.
meth.
The
It's
orange
blue-
ones are good.
it's
Don't
fucking-
touch the
yes.
red ones.
Yes, it's blue meth. It's the
That's why I take Krylon and spray all my weed before I sell it.
Yeah, that's right. The red weed. What's that? People died. Technically, it wasn't the weed that killed him, though, right?
I really thought the silver would make the weed pop. Just get that like metallic silver spray paint.
Yeah. But anyway,
Everything is chrome now. I want to do that in my house one night. Just start chroming random things, but then just putting them back for my wife to find.
Start spray painting fucking Snickers bars and shit.
Just random chrome things.
Dude,
an apple.
an
actual apple.
Yeah, and give that to kids. First of all, the kid's not going to eat the apple anyway, so it's safe.
No.
It's safe. Anyway, so don't worry about the fucking the crazy.
I mean, check your kids' candy if you see anything suspicious. If they bring anything up, trust your children.
Yes.
And honestly, trust
if
your
your kid
neighbor.
is like, if your kid is like, I feel like I just took fentanyl. First of all, you should be like, how do you know what that feels like, honey? But then also be like, okay,
how are you not dead?
Yeah. And also, hey, if you're one of these dirtbags actually handing the shit out, just also toss a Narcan pen in there. All right, kind of like a little Narcan. Boom.
Yeah, statistically, even back in the 80s when there was the razor blades,
you and I,
we've covered this on the show.
We grew up through that scare.
It never happened.
Essentially, it was a satanic panic. There was never one of those.
Actually, it did. There was a case where it happened, but it was a parent doing it to their own kid on purpose.
Yeah, and it was after the fucking media blitz put it in everybody's head. So they were like, oh, I can do this and get a whole bunch of, I could get a whole my cat is now in the bag. Okay, so the cat's in the bag. Not out of the bag. The cat is now in the bag. So you know what? We might as well just use that as the.
That'd be a weird way to lie to someone. Like literally, come to someone's face and be like, "Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm home late. I was over at Jeremiah's house. The cat's in the bag.
Cat's in the bag.
Like, what is that? Did you just explain your lie with a idiom?
Yeah, you just admitted via idiom.
Oh, anyway. Wait, no, I was at the strip club. Cat's out of the bag.
Yeah,
that doesn't work if you announce you're just saying you're lying.
Okay,
do you think that other girl's pretty? No, the cat's totally in the bag on this one.
Yeah, that's right.
Did you You just said you lied again. No, I didn't. I just said the cat's in the bag. Could mean anything.
Yeah.
So do you think she's pretty? Yes.
Yeah.
Cat's
Oh,
out
cat's
of
out of the bag.
So that means you're lying. If it's in the, but you keep denying. It's gotta be like a stone wall. Be like, no, I don't see how they're connected.
Cat's
I don't see how
out
they're
of the
connected.
bag.
Oh, because there's a cat in a bag. These two things are interconnected. They're entwined.
Oh, Jesus.
Man, like that drifter I ran over my car last summer.
Oh, cat's out of the bag.
You said when you ran over that speed bump, the cat was in the bag. I thought you ran over a cat
Cat's
in a
out of the
bag.
bag.
I thought you literally ran over a cat in a bag. No, it's just how I lied. Well, cat's out of the bag.
Cat's out of the bag. All right, everybody, get lost.
Get lost.